In software engineering, let us see the software maintenance. The key issues will be why maintenance is such an issue, reverse engineering and its limitations, and how to organize the maintenance. So, this is a graph actually, or you can say a figure, which shows the relative distribution of software and hardware cost. So, this is the percentage of total cost with years, and you see that the maintenance cost is increasing from has increased from 1955 till 1985. Now also the maintenance is the major cost which is involved uh, by the firm or the development organization. So what we need to think is, why does this software maintenance it costs so much, the highest among all the phases? Software maintenance is a task that costs so much. So let us take the definition of software maintenance first. The process of modifying a software system or component after delivery to correct faults, improve performance, or other attributes, or adapt to a change environment. Okay, correct. This is corrective maintenance, improve performance, and other attribute. This can be this can be perfective maintenance and adapt to change environment. That is the there's four types of maintenance actually: corrective, preventive, perfective, and adaptive. So this is the last one, the adaptive maintenance. So let us learn the software maintenance definition again. The process of modifying a software system. So we are trying to, the maintenance means the modification of the software system or say component. Once it is being delivered, once you have delivered, okay, it is with the users now. Now you want to, you wish to, or you are subjected to correct the faults, improve the performance or the other attributes, or to adapt to a change environment. This is your software maintenance. So maintenance is concerned with correcting errors which are found after the software has been delivered. Okay, and adapting the software to the changing requirements. Adapting the software to the changing requirement, because change is the only thing which never changes, and changing environments, changing requirements. So adapting to these requirements, ever changing requirements and environment to the software. This is the maintenance which is concerned with. So key to maintenance is in development. If you have a higher quality product, then you'll have less corrective maintenance. If anticipating change, you can anticipate the changes which are going to be there, then you will have less adaptive and perfective maintenance. And you require, or you'll have less maintenance of perfective, if you have better tuning to the user needs. And of course, you have non-complex, simple code, less code, maintenance will be less. So kinds of maintenance activities are: first is corrective maintenance, you correct the errors here. Adaptive maintenance, you adapt to the changes in the environment, both in hardware and software, which are ever coming, because software is software science, and software field is ever changing, and hardware also. So you need to adapt to the environment. Then you have perfective maintenance. So you want to change the, or go to the adaptation or adapt to the changing user requirements. Then preventive maintenance, uh, if you can increase the system's maintainability, that is, if you want the maintenance to be least as possible, then the best is to prevent the errors, prevent the things, maintenance activities which are going to cost you much. This is preventive maintenance. You don't do such things so that the maintenance can be is subjected to you or forced on you. So these are the distribution of maintenance activities. You see, the corrective and maintenance 21%, adaptive 25%, preventive 4%, and perfective is the most one. Perfective is the 50%. Growth of maintenance problem: 1975, 75,000 people maintenance, 75%. 1990, 47%. 2005, 76%. 2016, 17. How much? So shift in types of maintenance over time. how it has changed or shifted over time. Introductory stage. First of all, at this stage, emphasis is on user support. At growth stage, emphasis is on correcting the faults. At maturity, emphasis on the enhancement or addition. When decline, the emphasis on the this case. In the declination case, emphasis is on the technological changes. So major causes of maintenance problems. If you have a code which is unstructured, the knowledge of that domain or that field for which you are making the software or the product is insufficient. The documentation is not that much. If you have an insufficient document, people leave, people come, and documentation is not there. What you have done, what you have not done is not being recorded. So maintenance will be difficult. Then we come to the reverse engineering. What is this reverse engineering? Reverse engineering, first of all, in the normal course or development, you make the requirements, then you design, and then you implement. In reverse engineering, we do the reverse. What reverse we do? First of all, let me see that first. This is the forward engineering. This is the forward engineering, the first phase. That means without not even going to the normal phase you have adopted. So you have not gone to the maintenance phase yet. But now you are on the implementation you have given. Now you have to reverse engineer it. Reverse engineer it. So while reverse engineering from implementation to design, you recover the design. While going from design to requirement, you recover the requirement. So with the code in your hand, you can find out the design. This is reverse engineering. And from design, if you are having the design, you can convert it into the requirement. So this is re-engineering. Re-engineering. Re-engineering means reverse engineering followed by the forward engineering. So this is restructuring again. Okay, and redocumenting. So what is reverse engineering? It does not involve any adaptation of the system. Reverse engineering. This is the akin to a reconstruction of a blueprint. The recovery of design is done. The result is at higher level of abstraction. Then redocumentation is done, which is at the same level of abstraction. Restructuring means functionality does not change here. From one representation to another at the same level of abstraction, like from spaghetti code to the structured code. Spaghetti means unstructured code. Refactoring after a design step in agile approaches. And black box restructuring, that is you are adding a wrapper now. And with platform change, migration to that platform. Restructuring. Re-engineering is renovation. That is functionality does not change. Then reverse engineering step which is followed by the forward engineering. So first we do reverse engineering, then we again do the forward engineering. Forward engineering step in which the changes are made. If you have refactoring, in case something is fishy, long method is there, large class, primitive obsession. If these are found, these are the bad smells. Long methods, large class, primitive obsession, data clumps, switch statements, lazy class, duplicate code, feature envy, inappropriate intimacy. These are the causes when you really want refactoring to be done. So what are the categories of these problems? Bloaters. Something has grown too large. Object-oriented abusers. Object-oriented not fully exploited. Change preventers, which hinders the further evolution. Dispensables, which can be removed. Encapsulators, which deal with the data communication. Couplers, coupling is too high. Program comprehension, that is the role of programming plans, beacons, as needed strategy versus the systematic, stepwise, well understood strategy, and use of outside knowledge like domain knowledge, naming convention, etc. So software maintenance tools, they are tools to ease perceptual processes. These are the reformaters. Software maintenance tools to gain insight into the static structure, and tools to gain insight in dynamic behavior. There are also tools that inspect the version history. Now analyzing software evolution data, it can be version-centered analysis. We study differences between different version 1.1, version 1.2, And we can have history-centered analysis, analyzing software evolution data. Second can be history-centered analysis. We study evolution from a certain viewpoint. For example, how often components are chained together. This is the example of version-centered analysis. These are various versions, version 1, version 2. So what were the component? What were the changes in ABCD? This is the example of history-centered analysis. Workflow main. What were the workflow figures, workflow paint, in the utility? What were the tools? So these are the history analysis, history-centered analysis. Then we come to the organization of maintenance. W type, that is the work type. Analysis versus programming. A type is by application domain. L type is by the life cycle type, that is development versus the maintenance. And then L type, this one is the most common or most often, development versus maintenance. What are the advantages of this L type categorization of departmentalization? Clear accountability is there. So development progress not hindered by the unexpected maintenance request. Better acceptance test by the maintenance department, and higher quality of service by the maintenance department. L-type departmentalization. Higher productivity also. But the disadvantage of L-type departmentalization, demotivation of maintenance personnel because of the status differences. Okay, one is doing maintenance, one is doing maintenance. Loss of system knowledge is due to system transfer. Coordination costs. Increased acceptance cost. And duplication of communication channels with the users. This is the product service continuum and maintenance. You have relatively pure product, service intensive product, hybrid product, product intensive service, and relatively pure service. So service versus your product. So here you have shrink wrap software, custom software development, adaptive maintenance here, corrective maintenance here, and here the software operation. This is the product and service continuum and maintenance. Then we come to the service gaps. So in the service gaps, expected services as perceived by the providers differ from the service expected by the customers. These are the service gaps. The service specification differ from the expected service as perceived by the provider. And service delivery differs from the specified services. The communication does not match with the service delivery. So these are the gap model of service quality. In this, these are various gaps. Gap 1, gap 2, gap 3, gap 4, gap 5. That is the expected service, perceived service, gap 5. Service delivery, external communication to to customers, gap 4. So these are the customers and service provider. These are the various gaps which is between, say, expected service and the company perceptions of expected services. So these are the gap model of service quality. Now we come to the maintenance control. First of all, we have to do the configuration control. Identify and classify the change request. Analyze the change request. Then implement the change request. So it fits in with the iterative enhancement model of maintenance. First we analyze, then we change. So first analyze, then implement. As opposed to the quick fix model, that is first patch, then update design and documentation if time permits. So quick fix model is just to patch the error. Indicators of system decay. If the system fails again and again, if the structure is complex, if the running is in emulation mode, the components are very large, and the resources are excessively required, and deficient documentation, high personnel turnover, and different technologies in one system. These are the indicators of your system delay or decay. So most of maintenance that is inevitable. Maintenance is a part, it will be there. Maintenance problems are basically because of unstructured code, insufficient knowledge about the system and domain, insufficient documentation, and bad image of the maintenance department. So Levin third law say a system that is used will change. Thank you so much. This was about maintenance.